Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Beer and Banter. My name is Mike,
Matthew.
and today we are going to be dissecting the Hoegaarden Wit beer.
So this is named after the town, which is really famous for actually brewing the Belgian Wit beer. Now we're going to talk a little bit about its history, kind of where it came from, and a little bit about where it is now. But I'm excited to try it. I've had it before. I'm looking forward to trying it now under some light of kind of knowing a little bit about its history and kind of what the style is supposed to, has kind of been represented as. So,
excellent. Yeah, before we try it, a little bit about this beer. Like we said, the beer is Hoegaarden. Some vital statistics on it. We're looking at 4.9% alcohol, about 20 IBUs, not super bitter, and 4 SRM. Being a wit beer, we're immediately going to know that it's a lighter colored beer.
Yeah. So Hoegaarden was first brewed way back in the 1400s. Has been recorded in breweries in Hoegaarden, Belgium. We're actually talking about somewhere about 30 miles east of Brussels. So this is about 46 kilometers for those of you viewing in metric. So we have a wit beer that has ties to being brewed over half a millennia ago. But we have also, this beer has been revitalized, I guess, since craft breweries in the U.S. and has really kind of taken on to resurging some of these old styles. Brewed with about 50% wheat, thereabouts on a lot of styles. It also is going to include a lighter malt, like Pilsner malt, and a couple adjuncts.
Yeah, we got coriander and curacao, orange peel, and we've got spices that are typically found in Belgians as well: chamomile, cumin, a little bit of cinnamon.
So I was reading up on curacao, just because I, as a bartender, I've known a lot about using curacao in drinks, and finding out a little bit more about it. It actually comes from a island in the Atlantic Ocean that brews this. They tried to make oranges that just, the soil, the lavic rock was just very, didn't do very well for edible oranges, but it made a really nice bitter orange. So curacao is kind of a bitter orange peel, and you can I see it often in our co-op and use it with some recipes.
Yeah, it's something I see in drinks a lot, but I've never actually seen in the store or tried to use it in cooking.
So right off the bat, you might have noticed we were kind of serving it. If they actually provide directions on back of this Hoegaarden bottle. But traditionally, with a lot of these wit beers and in Hefeweizens, they ask to pour most of the beer and then stir the bottom. We're trying to look to bring up some of that sediment, some of that actual yeast that's sitting on the bottom of the bottle, and drop it in on top. So some of that yeast is captured by the foam. Mm-hmm. We get a little bit more of a traditional experience.
I have a funny story actually about Hoegaarden and my early years as a bartender. I was working at Sir Benedict's Tavern down here in Duluth, and I was very new to bartending. Someone had ordered a Hoegaarden in a bottle and asked for a glass. And me thinking that I was doing something nice for this person, poured it for him, and I wanted to make sure that I fit the whole beer in the glass. And so I just poured it in as if I was pouring a domestic beer into a glass, and left almost no head on it whatsoever, and just dumped the whole thing in. And when I went to serve this guy his beer, he was looking at me like he wanted to kill me, because he was ready and excited about having the experience of pouring this beer for himself, because he knew the style that you're supposed to do it in. And then he was watching this poor Jamoke who knew nothing about craft beer at the time totally ruin his beer for him, and he let me know that.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah,
good. To not being shy.
Yeah.
All right, so getting into the aroma, right away I get kind of some sweet fruitiness.
Yeah, banana-y esters.
Yep, jumping right into that kind of orangey, lemon. Wonderful full nose though. I mean,
yeah.
I just get busted right with a bunch of fruit.
Yeah, plenty of haze, which is to be expected in a Belgian wit beer.
You get some of that white bready kind of wheat, just that real soft bread malt. If you can't see from the camera, we got a strong kind of dulled yellow. It's definitely cloudy. It is fairly hard to see through, but I do see a firm amount of bubbles coming up too.
And when we talk about orange peel, I mean, that's present in this in the color and everything too. It almost looks like orange juice. A little less.
I get a ton of malt on the mouth. A lot of weedy malt. I mean, really kind of soft white bread. Fruity esters are kind of mimicking in with some of that orange spices, coriander. You can really tell that this beer has a little bit of that actual adjunct.
Yep.
I mean, I'm tasting it just beyond just that Belgian yeast character that you might get.
There's definitely orange in there.
Oh. Very soft. I really get a very quaffable beer. Very soft malt. It's not super in your face. The effervescence seems to be right in the moderate area. I'm not getting a full, really crisp beer. I'm getting kind of a medium bodied on the carbonation level.
Yeah. With enough proteins in there to make a nice, long-lasting head.
You know, I'm noticing the difference in our color just with you having the Belgian goblet. You have a deeper orange.
The Pilsner glass, as the Pilsner glass should, is meant to accentuate the brightness and clarities of beer. So
hef, yeah.
Yep. Excuse me, hef glass.
Yeah. So I haven't had a whole lot of classic Belgian wits that are also labeled by the BJCP as being kind of classic styles. A few of them would be kind of the Celis white, which actually came from the history of this beer. So I'll jump right into that. But man, there is a fun history here. There's a gentleman who was formerly a milkman named Pierre Celis, who he actually had worked for this brewery back in the 1950s before they closed down, who was the last standing Belgian wit beer in Hoegaarden. So after they closed down, stopped making the beer, about a decade later, he resurrected the style by opening his own brewery in a barn, and then had been successful all the way till a tragic fire in mid-1980s, where he ended up getting funded by Interbrew out in Europe, who is was partnered with the large Anheuser-Busch InBev. So at that time, Interbrew had purchased or had put in money to help build this brewery back up, and they had bought it outright in 1990. In which case, we move all the way into the U.S. So Pierre, in 1992, moved to Austin, Texas, and opened his own brewing company, Celis Brewing Company. And Celis had sold shortly thereafter in 1995 to Miller Coors. So kind of a history of selling to the big ones. But the name still lives on. So he had sold the brand to Miller Coors, and then in I think 2001, Miller Coors sold that name, Celis White, and that brand to Michigan Brewing Company. So it is still around today. I have yet to be able to find it, but I'm looking forward to find this kind of part of history.
Yeah, that would be one to find in online beer forums. Anyone who knows how we could find that through trading, feel free to let us know, because we'd be happy to get our hands on some of that. But Hoegaarden, as it is still brewed in Hoegaarden up to this day.
Yep. Still owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev, but the beer itself has kind of a long-standing tradition, actually being brewed in the town its namesake for. So I think it's good. It's definitely. I'm not sure how it is drinking now compared to what it was in 1985 and prior, but it's got this really soft, creamy, light, flowery flavor to it, with a bit of fruit, and definitely quaffable at the end of a long day.
Yeah, this is a very refreshing beer. Highly recommended to anyone getting off of a long day's work, or just enjoying a day off in the sun.
Yeah, I think to another one maybe. Prost.
Prost.